Welcome back to the Savage Patriots, not the Hooch America. As you can see, Marlon
He got
Brown,
it right this time.
Marlon Brown, Marlon's still out. He's feeling under the weather, but the show must go on. As always, we try.
We love our fans. That's what we got. We got to do this. That's
we love you guys. We really do. No, I'm kidding. We do. But we're going to talk about the protest today and all the madness and the craziness of it, and we're just going to give our opinion on it and our viewpoints, and we're going to make fun of these monkeys. And with that said, we will see you on the other side. And welcome back to the future, or welcome to the future.
Hey, so, bro and Coy, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you get when you have bored suburbanite white kids who spend tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on worthless degrees and have absolutely nothing to show for their lives, only to recognize that their degrees absolutely mean nothing, and then they go around trying to find causes to fill their empty existences? What do you get?
Liberals.
Okay.
You get a liberal. Yeah, that's what you get.
A bunch of privileged kids who protest for things they have no idea what they're protesting for half the time. Most of the time they see a group of people holding signs and, they want to go virtue signal and they jump in not knowing what they're protesting about. They could be saying they're saying words. They don't even know the real meaning of it. And they're screaming it and they're trying to dress like the people over there while the people over there are actually fighting for their lives. They're over here screaming and yelling at the top of their lungs for things that they probably will never fix because it's not. The war machine wants to happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you touched the third rail of the establishment, which was don't mess with our money.
That's right. They and I get it, Coy. Their cause, I can say it could be a just cause if you're calling for peace. Because we all want peace. Most Americans are tired of war. We're tired of seeing our money getting sent to other countries. We want peace. But, this is kind of like you said earlier, there's Summer of Love, Black Lives Matter 2.0. What'd you say, Jay? 2.0, the Semitic Edition?
This is BLM 2.0, the Semitic Edition.
The Semitic Edition. Intifada, they're screaming all this stuff.
They don't even know what that word means, intifada.
Oh, no, intifada, they don't even know. But so we got a video here. And this is what we're talking about before we bring up this video. And Coy and I talk backstage about this. Everyone has the right to protest. We understand that. It's under the First Amendment. We have that right. We appreciate that right. We're the Savage Patriots. We are constitutionalists. We believe in the Constitution. But there's one key thing in there when it comes to the right to protest. What is that? There's one thing.
Not impeding others.
Yeah, it's the right to protest, but there's something before it. It's to peacefully protest. Yeah. And when you do things like this, whether there's violence or not, this isn't very peaceful.
It's a group of protesters blocking a certain ethnic minority from attending classes.
You guys have closed the entrance. We are UCLA students. I have my ID right here. I'm being blocked off, not by the security guard, but by you
person.
You three. Oh, look, they're making their burr while I'm going this way. Excuse me. This is what they do. Everybody, look at this. Look at this. I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Why can't they go? Will you let me go in? This could be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in to class.
We're not engaging in that.
Then you can move. Will you move?
We're not engaging in that.
Okay, we're going.
You better than me, man. Have been hands and feet.
Yeah, just hands up and walk through, man.
I'm not hurting them.
Yeah, push them through. Push through, man.
Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly what you're pointing out is like you have the right to protest, but you don't have the right to impede other people's livelihoods either.
That's right.
Hence why the same reason of why people get angry when you stop in front of a road and block off things is because it makes people mad. It's like, I got to get to work, man.
Yeah.
Like, I got kids to feed.
And you see things like that all the time, like when you brought up the roads. You know, you got somebody who's having a bad day, who's working 12 to 14 hours a week. He's on his Friday getting ready to go to work, and you got a bunch of freaking LARPers out there blocking the road, holding up little signs. And then when he smacks them with his vehicle, they cry foul.
Well, you remember the other guy, that lawyer in South America that shot those climate protesters?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was just a bridge too far that day for him. And he's like, you know what, this ends now. And then he just like shot him. And it's like, do I justify that? No, you shouldn't kill people over protesting. But at the same time, it's like, I understand it.
Yeah.
I think everybody's had one of those dark fantasies before, but don't listen to your inner voices ever.
No,
ever.
And the problem with a lot of these protesters that are out there, these chimps, these, monkeys, smooth brain potatoes, how much you want to bet a lot of them have coexist bumper stickers on their car?
Oh, for sure, dude.
For sure.
Yeah, they all have coexist, but they're not coexistence people.
And there's a particular star on that coexist bumper sticker, right?
Oddly enough.
So they'll sit up here and talk about, taking out Zionists or whoever, and we can discuss that. But and then at the same time, they'll block kids from going to school. They'll scream anti-Semitic statements, but drive off in their Tesla with a coexist sticker on the back of the car, drinking their soy latte.
yeah, with the soy latte. Hey, Michael, tell me the difference between those guys and these guys.
Oh, there's no difference.
Yeah, it's the same picture.
I think you guys are a little more organized than the college students.
Yeah, this happened in West Virginia, by the way.
Yeah. You know what they have in common, though? They're both paid by George Soros.
Probably.
I think
and most of them are feds.
Yeah. But back to the these campuses, man, and what's been trending right now is the fact that all these protests at these campuses all happened at the same time.
Yeah.
They all have the same signs and the same tents, and it's the same way they're doing things. And a lot of people are, saying that, of course, as we all think, that this is bought and paid for by himself. The king anti-Semitic himself, George Soros. Yeah, George Soros. So, and it's no different.
The original, the OG.
Yeah, he's the OG, triple OG. He's not a good person, but it goes all the way back to the Summer of Love and all these other protests, Occupy Wall Street. Maybe that started off as a good thing, but someone's paying for these protests because there's no way these people can organize this fast. A bunch of college kids can organize this fast with that equipment, with those fancy tents
across multiple campuses,
across multiple campuses at the same time. So we got some more footage to make. We're going to talk about these monkeys even more.
This is going to make you mad, by the way.
Okay.
I just found this one, so it's going to make you mad. But yeah, let's show you. They have just taken down the American flag, and they're hoisting another flag in its place.
Oh, of course.
This is Harvard, by the way.
No, I'm not Jay. AJ.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, can we
taking down the American flag to replace it with the Palestinian flag.
Of course.
Can we just take note how not creative these protesters are? The cadence has always been the same between hey ho ho, these these whatever has got to go, and now you got this.
Yeah, I mean, look, we've all been to the zoo, right? If you take a banana and you dangle it in a encampment full of chimps, they all act the same.
Yeah.
These kids are so easily influenced, and they're only in their 20s, but they think they know how the world works. They don't understand that these protests, they can protest until they turn blue in the face. Protest. But the war machine, the military industrial complex, doesn't care what you're protesting about. Why? Because there's no money in it. There's no money in it with your protest. You think your protest is going to stop anything here in America?
Yeah. You're talking about a strip of land that is astronomically tiny to the U.S. industrial complex. Like, what does that do for us? That's nothing. I'm not going to get anything out of that. That's nothing but a quagmire to get stuck in.
Yeah.
Like Israel's the money. Israel's the money.
And it's just, you just see this all the time. It's like they don't protest about other countries. You didn't see any protests about things that were going on in like Rwanda or Ghana or some of these African nations.
Or China.
You know, or China, where there's actual genocide going on, innocent people actually getting murdered. They're not out there protesting about that because there's no money in it. There's no money in those countries.
Yeah, that's also why I say the Muslims are full of shit too, is because they don't actually go after China for interning Muslims in camps and genociding an entire population of Uyghurs. But no, whatever. That's fine too. Like, America's the great evil, but China's perfectly fine, even though they're throwing your people in camps. Congratulations.
And here's one reason, though they are paid protesters, and it's obvious that they're paid. Two, they have been taught for at least since Obama that we're a bunch of colonizers. The West is a bunch of colonizers. The Jews, and then that transferred over to what's going on in Israel. They consider Israel occupiers and colonizers. So they've been brainwashed to think this. We're colonizers. Them thinking that we're colonizers, them saying that that we're on stolen land, which you hear all the time. And this is why they're so quick to bash their own country. Until they get their heads bashed in. But that's neither here or here. But it's
true. It's true, because like you have the Queers for Palestine, and they're the first people that would throw you off a building. It's illegal in Palestine to be gay, but hey, whatever.
And I just read that Iraq is literally going to criminalize homosexual relationships for 15 years at least, minimum.
And they're quick to stand for a country that doesn't accept them. But America, we're pretty accepting. We're very tolerant of the LGBT community.
Legitimate.
Very tolerant. And we see them all the time. We're walking past them. We see them in stores. We see them. We don't bat an eye.
You can't unsee them.
But we don't. But the thing is, we don't say anything or hate them or push that on them, throw them off a bridge or do anything like that. Like,
ironically enough.
Yeah. What's that?
I was just gonna say, ironically enough, between the Legitimate, the Rainbow Community, and the Muslims in America, they still can coexist together because of the ideals that America presents. But anywhere else, oh my gosh, you get the flying lesson. Woohoo!
Yeah. And so they hate their country so much, but the same country they hate and the countries that they're supporting, they won't go to that country and fight for those people. If you care so much, volunteer, go over there and fight.
Like I said,
you screaming and yelling over here, all you're doing is you're pissing off a lot of Americans because Americans just want to go on about their day, go on about their life. They know that they cannot control what's going on over there by screaming and yelling over here. Now, if you're screaming for peace, like I said earlier, which I believe we could talk about having, peace. At least we're putting it out there that we're tired of war. But you're not going to control the politics of that nation. You're not going to control Americans here. These little college students aren't going to control if Israel or Palestine come up with a one-state solution or two-state solution, whatever they want. You're not going to control that over here. That's way above us. And there's not enough money in your little protest for that.
Nope. That's the thing that they don't understand. There's no money in any of this.
Look at this.
And yeah, Allah loves equality. Maybe. I mean, but you don't. Most of the religious zealots that exist in Islam today don't believe that, because women aren't equal in their societies. Definitely not gay people. So,
these are Western. These are Westernized Muslims. You know that they are.
Yeah. Right. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's just the point that everybody will crap on Christianity because it's allowed in the West, but nobody dares lay a finger on Islam because they know what happens if they do.
Yeah.
And I wonder why that is. Why will you not crap on another religion the same way you will Christianity? It's because you know what happens if you do.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody comes to your house at 3 a.m. with a machete.
Yep.
Yeah, and on that note, they'll say, "Well, they're not pushing their religion on us." Christians aren't pushing their religion on you. They're not. They just want to be left alone, mind their business. They should be able to go out there and talk about God all they want in a public square, all they want, just like you have the right to say death to America in a public square. But the minute a Christian does it, what you guys are doing right now, if that was done on a college campus, reverse it, and it was a bunch of Christians out there doing that, you guys will be protesting and get them canceled.
CNN would be on it for 10
all
weeks.
over it. They're pushing religion on separation of church and state, which all the smooth brains like to say that, but that's nowhere in the Constitution.
And then meanwhile, on the same college campuses, you'll have Muslim extremist groups like the Muslim Brotherhood pushing for Sharia law within that college town.
Yeah, yeah. There was just a video I saw on X a minute ago of them calling for a caliphate in Germany. Elon Musk just tweeted it out.
Yeah, and there was another video going around of all these college kids doing the Muslim prayer. They're all out there, and you got this one,
which is the weirdest,
white liberal suburbanite, as Jay likes to say. He's out there doing the Muslim call to prayer, and all these white kids, and I think it was you that did the video. I saw it. He's like, he's white, he's white, and these are the same kids that do that Muslim prayer, sit there and act like they're a Muslim, cosplay as a Muslim, and go home and eat a bacon sandwich
during Ramadan.
During Ramadan,
yeah.
They just ate their freaking double whopper with cheese during Ramadan with extra bacon on it. Then after they were done, they wiped their hands clean and went up there and did a Muslim prayer. This is how stupid they are. What is this?
So this is the post I was talking about. Hundreds of Islamists are demonstrating in Hamburg, Germany. They're demonstrating that a caliphate is established in the country. The organization behind the protests is called the Muslim Interactive and is monitored by the authorities, but not banned. Not banned. They're monitored, but not banned. See, this goes to my point of this is like the people that you're protesting for do not coexist with other people.
No,
they
don't.
They do not coexist. Like the only place that you get the idea of multicultural coexistence is in the West. Mm-hmm. Nowhere else in the world does that exist, especially not in China, especially not in India, especially not in Pakistan, or in Africa for that matter.
Okay.
We could talk about Africa all day. They don't even coexist with certain tribes in Africa.
Nope.
Right? So the West is the only place in the entire world where coexistence with multiculturalism tries to make it work. Does it work all the time? No, it doesn't. But they try.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people like this that will come into your country and demand everything from you.
And take advantage of our kindness as a country, or that country. They take advantage of the kindness because they're there to change the country to the crap hole country they left. So you leave some crap hole country, then you come to a country that's more modernized, has a lot more freedom, and you're seeking asylum from a country. Then you come to the country and try to change this country into the country you was seeking asylum from. Make that make sense. Make it make sense to me.
It's always funny to me that you have these super feminists in these college campuses protesting for certain types of organizations that don't allow women to vote. They don't allow women to wear anything they want. Don't allow them to even drive a car in certain countries. But yeah, no, that's part of our like little coalition Venn diagram, right? Is the Islamic religion for some freaking reason. I don't know. It's completely antithetical to what you preach. So I don't understand how that works.
Would that be considered Semitic intersectionality?
Yeah, no, it's part of the intersectionality thing. It's the Anti-Semitic intersectionality Venn diagram right there. It's Nazis and then these guys.
Hey,
Somewhere
Corey,
in
bring
between
up
is
that,
another one liberal female.
bring up that one Jay just sent to the group chat.
Yep.
But you know the problem is that these people will jump on anything that's trending to feel virtuous. You know, these liberals, whatever, these privileged college kids have never done anything hard in their life ever.
I think that's the key right there.
You know, they haven't even started their life yet. They're fresh out of high school in their second year, third year of college. They don't know anything but school. And then in order to, because these kids all want to be a part of something. That's the problem with society. Everybody wants to be accepted. They want to put themselves in groups because they want to feel accepted. And they get over there and they fight for things that they really don't know what they're fighting for. They just play along like cosplayers to be accepted. And now I'm part of something.
Definitely cosplayers.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they're all cosplayers.
So yeah, here you go.
And this is what I was talking about. Look at this. Breast still smelling like double Whopper with cheese, extra bacon.
I mean, to me, like doing something religious isn't bad, but at the same time it's
white.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things that there's nothing wrong with religious practice, right? The call of prayer is fine.
Yeah,
it's the fact that it's all of the other things along with it that it entails, right? Because like it'd be the same way with how they act with Christians in the U.S. when it comes to the abortion issue, right? It's the same thing, right? They say that they're trying to create their own little
Christian
what's
national.
the show? Shit. Yeah, Christian nationalists, like that whole business, and that they're going to put women back in the kitchen and all this other nonsense.
Yeah.
When you have a literal group of people that do that already,
yeah, and it's not us.
it's like,
but
you're saying the Christians do that, but you have a group of people that exist in the world that do that already. So amazing to me.
And the problem with these monkeys right here, you know, is that none of them are practicing Muslims. Maybe some of them. There might be a few in there. But that's like me going to a gay bar and all of a sudden, because I'm in a gay bar, I start acting gay. And then I go home and I'm straight again. It makes no sense. So they're all sitting up here doing the call of prayer. They probably don't even know what they're doing. One guy took a knee.
Yeah.
Like he was, you know, you saw that guy?
He was white as ever, too.
Yeah, and they're all doing it because it's a virtue signaling. They do things to show people, show other cultures that they don't understand that they stand in solidarity. I'm not standing in solidarity with nothing unless I understand it. I don't know what I'm standing in solidarity for. What is he saying in that prayer? You don't know what these people are saying, but these virtue signaling, bored, privileged, smooth brain college kids do stuff like this because I have to be a part of something, the revolution, and we're going to take the fight. You barely fought to graduate high school, and you're talking about you're going to take the fight to the. You're not going to do anything. Go sit down.
The thing is that I think that speaks to the larger thirst for people that belong to some kind of a community, which I have nothing wrong with. You know, have your groups, have your in-group preferences, fine, whatever. But like you guys always, you got like both of you have alluded to. You can't sit there and be an atheist, chant intifada, and think that you're doing something with your life.
Right.
Boom.
Right.
You can't.
And then be for feminist rights while supporting a group that is completely anti-feminist.
Right.
Yeah. Or being pro-gay rights, but supporting a group that would throw you off a roof. You know, it makes no sense, man. And this is why no one takes these kids seriously, is because you can say tomorrow that they're killing gay frogs. It's been proven that frogs are gay, and they're putting them in cold water.
And we're turning the freaking frogs gay.
Yeah, and we're boiling all the gay frogs because they're contaminating the water. And these people get out there and protest that. Don't kill the gay frogs. You know, they will jump on anything,
not killing gay
anything
frogs.
that's trending. And that's the problem with our society. There's not enough free thinkers. You know, anything that's trending, these smooth brains will jump on it, not understanding it. And then it comes out the truth about it. And then they just back off and jump on to the next trend and jump on to the next. Half these kids are out at BLM riots.
Yeah.
Oh, there's brown people. Okay. Oh, well, BLM's done. Let's jump over here. Okay, that's done.
Yeah.
What's next? And
Yeah,
and
that
they're
part.
just going to keep bouncing around all over the place because they
Yeah.
hate themselves and they feel bad about themselves. So they figure as a white face, they have to get up there and stand in solidarity and use their privilege as they think they have to be a voice for minorities.
So,
It's
Michael, here's the thing: is that these people are midwits, right? They can believe
that's a good
something
one.
so patently dumb and say it with the whole chest, right? And believe they're right. So, like, they would claim that a tail is just a back dick, and you're looking at them like, what? That's a tail. No, it's a back dick. And they'll say it with the whole chest too. They'll just say, "No, I'm right. It's a back dick," and then that's it.
back penis.
What in the world is that guy?
Back penis.
It was part of my dream last night. I don't know. It was a joke that I came up in my sleep last night. So you're welcome.
Make sure it's PG next time.
All right.
Okay, that's
But that's the only way I can explain how these
That's-
people are.
Yeah.
Is they'll say it with their whole
You're
chest and be
not wrong.
stupid.
Yeah, it's true. All right,
So-
I saw this one. This one's good.
This is the one you sent. I mean, this is the best explanation too.
Yeah, this is.
Why are we protesting? Why are we protesting?
So true.
Oh, they're gonna tell us tomorrow. So
Which is so funny because that actually happened. There's a literal
Yeah.
interview by a news organization where they're
And I-
asking the kids what they're protesting.
I sent it to
And
the
like-
group chat. I sent that one too. But there's multiple interviews out there like this where they ask these kids why they're here, and they're looking like, why are we here? Well, and one girl was like, well, I saw a group of people over here with signs, and I saw Free Palestine, so I decided to come on and join in.
I need to be more educated.
I need to be more educated.
Yeah, the idea of sending your children to university to get smarter is an oxymoron.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Charlie Kirk has said it. He is like, it's a complete waste of money. If you're sending your kids, if I'm paying, especially at Harvard, Columbia, Yale, all these big colleges, man, and I'm sending my kid and I'm putting all this money to send my kid to get what they consider a good education.
Quality
Kid a quality education. I don't want to send my kid to a school to be indoctrinated. So these parents are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars to send their kids to school to become activists. Useless degrees, basket weaving, sitting in their hippie drum circle, learning how to say words that they don't understand just to become activists who will never get a job because their face is all over the internet.
Michael, you're wrong. Basket weaving has more value than their gender studies degree.
That's true.
Touche.
Yeah.
So, like, you could at least sell Etsy things with basket weaving. You can't do anything with gender studies.
Yep. And a good thing about having a degree, not having a degree, you can make way more money than a kid that has a degree.
That's very true.
Because degrees are, and I'm not knocking people that went to college. What I'm saying is most people who graduate from school go into the field, not all, go into the field try to get into the field of their degree. And guess what? They don't get in. Why? They don't have the experience. So they just wasted 4 years of their life to learn something that they read that you could have taught yourself to do. You try to get out in the workforce and you don't get hired. When you can go to trade school, and most trades, they'll hire you like that. And it's just an indoctrination center with this Rockefeller education system, and schools are there to indoctrinate. It starts at a very young age.
Mhm.
It starts at a very young age. It starts from the minute you walk into the classroom, in first grade. Indoctrination starts. You may not see it, but go back now and see what you're indoctrinated to believe. And over time, they just kept pushing that same indoctrination. Then you get out and you're stuck in the freaking matrix.
Well, school is supposed to teach you how to think, not
Yes.
tell you what to think. And then when you grow, I mean, the activism is starting as even early as kindergarten with the whole gender queer nonsense.
Mhm.
And then the moment you cross the threshold of middle school, I remember when I was in middle school, we were given the option of sex ed, and that was based on our parents. But now it's like, no, you can go ahead and change your gender. It's fine. We'll give you these hormone blockers. You're good.
Yeah.
That's what it's evolved to.
We're not going to tell your parents. And if your parents tell you don't justify your gender, we'll call CPS on.
That's crazy to me.
And that's the indoctrination. So school's gone from, like you said, teaching you how to critically think,
Right.
to indoctrinate you on how not to think. You know, go along to get along. That's the indoctrination. Whatever the group is about, it's the collectivism, right? It's the collective mindset. They don't want individuals, and that's what these colleges are. They don't want an individual thinker because now you're the oddball. You're crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist because you want to be an individual. Right. You're not part of the collective. They want collective thinking. Because if you think collectively, if there was 10 of us in this room on this podcast right now, and 9 of you said something, and you all agreed on it, technically, that'd probably make the 10th person agree. Even though they don't agree, they would just say they agree. And that's the dynamic of the current education. Brainwashing. What else? We got anything else up there, Coy? Can't hear you. But yeah, you know, people have to pay attention to these protests. And the good thing is that a lot of states aren't taking it. And Coy and I talked about this on the Hooch about why they're not taking it, why the police are actually jumping in, because police didn't jump in during a lot of the Summer of Love stuff. Police rarely jumped in when it came to Antifa, when they were burning down cities and Black Lives Matter, burning things down and tearing up towns. Yeah. They kind of stood back because that was part of the agenda. Yeah. But now that these pro-Palestine protests are going on, they're going against the cabal's agenda, and the cabal has to squash it. Even though it's funded, I still believe it's funded, but it's all a distraction too.
Well, Jill Stein even got arrested. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate. She's like the one every year. She got arrested in where was it? Oh yeah, here it is. I got it.
Wasn't it a real arrest?
Oh yeah, no, real arrest. She got arrested for assault.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, good. she got arrested for assaulting a police officer based on this clip.
Is that Austin?
So there's Jill Stein right there.
Get her.
Yeah, she's got dragged out. She's over here in the corner now.
Look at their little chant. Hold the line, don't be the line.
Yeah, that's Jill Stein right there. I know that's not Jill Stein. Where is she? She get dragged over this way somewhere. Saw her a second ago. I think she's over in that corner.
What do you mean? What am I doing?
But yeah, that's basically what it was. Is that she got arrested for assaulting a police officer apparently, even though they were the one shoving the bike in her face. But
it looks smelly in that crowd.
What they should have done is do what they classically do, which is resisting arrest with no underlying crime.
Yeah, but
you know, because that's how that works.
And like we talked about before on other podcasts, it's like these kids figured out, these adults, these kids, these Marxists, these commies, these anti-Semitic Semites, they figured out that they're not that special.
They're really not. They're really not.
It's just amazing to me. It's just amazing to me how much effort they put into cracking down on these protests in these college campuses, but they did nothing during 2020.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
You know, welcome to the world of the Jan 6 protesters. Yeah. You know, you're out there exercising a right, which the Jan 6 protesters were doing. They have the right. They didn't do half the destruction these monkeys do, and they all got thrown in jail 20 years. But these people can get out here, disrupt. You know, there's so many laws they're breaking. You know, public nuisance, disturbing the peace, terroristic threats. You can just go down the line, and a lot of these kids were walking before, but now the cops are like, no, we're done.
See, like I said, they made the mistake of thinking they were special, and they got the boot around their neck just the same as everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
if you're with the establishment, you're fine.
Yeah. And what's going to happen? History repeats itself. Coy and I were talking backstage. What happened to the brown shirts? What happened to the Bolsheviks? when the Nazis. What happened to the brown? What happened to the brown shirts when the Nazis were done with them?
Yeah.
Well,
just go with their level of logic, right? So if we look at history, anytime the revolutionaries in these communist countries win, who are the first people they get rid of after they come into power? The people that were actually behind the whole thing.
Yep, they're foot
The
soldiers.
Bolsheviks, the revolutionaries. We can't have revolutionaries in the new utopia because they will cause problems.
That's right.
So you think yourself a revolutionary, but you're the first one to go once it's established. They don't need revolutionaries, they need followers.
So are you guys basically saying that if I sit there and on a college campus wear a kafaya scarf and look like I belong with Hamas, even though I'm completely Far East Asian, and I chant intifada, intifada, blah, 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 east to the west, river to the sea, whatever, that if and when that does happen, I'd be the first to go?
Yeah.
Yes, once they got in power. I mean, you think of Mao, right? Who did Mao use to gain power?
He used the youth. He used the college kids.
That's right. He used the youth and the college kids to gain power. Then once he got his power, guess who was useless to him?
The college kids.
Those
like
same
Three
people.
Body Problem has like the best opening when it comes to that. If you haven't seen it, it's a good show. Take a look at it. But it opens with the struggle sessions of Mao, right? Where you're taking college educated professors and telling them to denounce science, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these kids are like, between 15 and like 19 years old, and they were beating people in the streets and they were killing people in order to live up to their idolation. And later on in the show, that same girl that killed the protagonist, or one of the protagonists of the show's father, spoiler, ends up having her arm cut off and is forced to work in the mines just the same as her.
Yep. And that's funny because a lot of these kids think that they're going to have a seat at the table, especially, when you had the white suburbanite kids, walking with Black Lives Matter. At the end of the day, say Black Lives Matter got what they want. They got their Black utopia. Do you really think these white kids are going to have a seat at the table? No, they're not. They're using you.
Look at how the rhetoric of the left actually works, and you realize that these white liberals are trying to make themselves a minority to be abused.
They don't even claim, and let's not get it wrong. I'm not big on race and all that stuff, but we're using it.
It's an example of the ideology we have to talk about.
But these are the same liberal white kids. If the interviewer went out there and started talking to all these protesters and asked them what race they were, guarantee they wouldn't say white. Some of them might, but a lot of them wouldn't. They could be as pasty as a cloud. And they're, I'm not white. I'm Native American.
I'm white passing.
I'm a Native American. And they hate themselves so much that they have to be a part of someone that doesn't look like them. Mm-hmm. And they want to be what they considered oppressed. They want to be oppressed. Who wants to be a victim? Who wants to be oppressed? Losers do. Losers want to walk around with the oppression shirt on. Losers walking around playing victim at every turn they can find a place to play victim at.
Yep.
Losers.
Which is why they have English studies degrees.
Yeah.
It's just sad to me because like one of the protests that's happening is UT Austin, which is my alma mater, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
And I saw it coming up in 2016 when Trump won, and I was still there, of how these people reacted to that.
Mm-hmm.
And it just never went away. That like derangement for everything just never went away. It got worse then. And I started seeing it. Like I saw what the college campuses were becoming with the diversity pushes or right think.
Yeah.
With that.
Right.
I've been at protests out there in Austin on the Capitol. I've been at two. And one was a free speech, or they were both free speech protests. And all these little mask-wearing fools are out there screaming and yelling and doing their thing. And the people that were part of the actual march weren't even scared at all. These kids just scream and yell at the top of their lungs. And they really think, like, for one, they think they're intimidating. They're not intimidating because they're going to come across the wrong person one day. And people are getting fed up. And you see it going around social media. People are tired of not be able to travel freely, not be able to go over here, told they can't come in here, blocking off roadways, blocking off areas and cities, making Chaz, whatever that place is called,
which was illegal,
destroying towns.
That's another issue for sure. But this video kind of encapsulates the ideology of the left. Is right, is you give them an inch, they'll take a mile situation. So instead of like the police instead of engaging with the protesters, decided to withdraw. But they see that as a victory.
Yeah.
Right. So like if you give them room, they will take over and think that they won, even though you're just not wanting to hurt stupid. I like how the Ukrainian umbrellas are back there too.
Yeah,
they're pulling out all the stops.
It's all the virtue, man. I feel virtuous. I stood for this.
It's funny to me because like the two groups that are the most anti-Jewish that exist in the world are the
Ukraine
are the ones you're trying to side with. It's like you can't call right Nazis when you're supporting a group of individuals that you've even brought into the Parliament of Canada and clapped and applauded for, and Jon Stewart, who pinned a medal on a Nazi.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Jon Stewart pinned a medal on a Nazi.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing is,
you imagine he wouldn't want to bring that up.
Once they started calling out the Ukrainians being Nazis, they started making them take off their Nazi patches because it was coming to light. And so everybody, all these little kids, these little smooth brain chimpanzees out here, they're all Nazis. They support Nazis. That makes you a Nazi. Just like you put some buzzword on someone on the right because we support somebody that makes us that person. You support Ukraine. You're all Nazis.
I mean, that makes sense.
You support Hamas, and I'm not talking about
how their logic works, right?
I'm not talking about the Palestinian people, the people, the innocent people, the ones that aren't fighting, the ones that are caught in the middle. We're not talking about them. We're talking about you fools out there that support Hamas.
Yeah, the ones that actually claim that they're supporting Hamas. Like,
yes,
unironically saying, like I said, saying it with their whole chest.
Yeah,
they got a back penis. You know, that's what they are.
Would you all agree that not every Palestinian is Hamas, but every Hamas is a Palestinian?
Yes.
Yeah. True, but I mean that's not true anymore because we do have people in the U.S. that are claiming to be Hamas. So that is no longer true.
But I mean, it's just the same kind of logic that they're using to say, well, not every Republican is a racist, but every racist is a Republican.
Yeah.
That's the logic they use. Yeah.
I mean, you had the son of the Hamas the founder, his son, who was anti-Hamas, and he's talking to these college kids and he's calling them out. He goes, "You guys are stupid." You know, pretty much. You know, I was part of it. I know what they want. And you guys are out here screaming this stuff, supporting an organization that wants to wipe out a whole race of people. Has nothing to do with the two-state solution. They want them wiped off the face of the earth. That's what I have a problem with.
And like I said, it's like certain members in the Kisset and Hamas have the same ideology. They want to wipe each other out. That's not our problem. Honestly, that is not our problem. It's not something we should get involved with, but we keep getting involved with it, and Israel keeps taking advantage of our goodwill. Like I have my criticisms of the Israeli government. The Israeli people, not to be confused, the Israeli government. Same thing with Hamas. I have issues with Hamas. I don't have issues with the Palestinians. I have issues with people that cause problems for other people, which is what these two groups are doing. Is they're causing problems with people caught in the middle who just want to live their lives. Same thing with the U.S. government. I don't hate the U.S. people. I hate the U.S. government for what they do. Right? I hate certain individuals in the U.S. government and what they do. Doesn't matter what color they are. Doesn't matter what they who they are. They do things that are detrimental to the United States, and I dislike them for that.
And they do it and laugh in our face when they do it.
Yeah.
And American people just key with them and still vote for these fools. And they're mocking us. They laugh at us by supporting these foreign wars that the majority of Americans, which they won't talk about, are against. Americans are tired. And then you got these people out here who are supporting things that the majority of American people don't support. You're not going to see your average blue collar worker out there, really. You're not going to see your average, family, you know, regular nuclear family members out there protesting. And why? Because we got bills to pay. We got things to do. We're trying to survive right now. Well, you know, gas prices, food prices, the inflation, everything's skyrocketing. They're sending our money to all these foreign countries. And you guys are out here supporting something that our tax dollars are going to while the American people are sitting up here suffering.
Well, that's the thing, though. They're okay with our tax dollars going towards supporting something like that because they're not the ones paying taxes.
That's right. They aren't the ones doing it.
Hippies don't have money.
It's easy for someone who's never created something or worked for something to give something away. You know, it's easy for a multimillionaire. He created a business. He created all this stuff. He hired all these people. He just put this awesome product out for everyone to scream that the rich need to pay their fair share.
Yeah.
But you didn't create this from the R&D phase from the ground up all the way to where it's at now. That was a lot of work. So these are the kids who won't create. They won't build anything because there's a generation of give me, give me, give me. And if I was in charge, I would cut all federal funding to their school until their school. I would fire all the staff. I would cut. First, I would say you either fire the staff or we're cutting federal funding, all of it. If they don't, fire, then you get rid of federal funding. Then all these kids out there protesting, screaming anti-American slogans, which is treasonous. Death to America is a treasonous statement. If they have any type of, if they have any type of scholarships or anything, they lose their scholarship and they get expelled from their school. Then they can go fight in Palestine and see if they can get a, you know, college education there and get a scholarship. Have fun.
Yeah. So this is something we need to talk about too, is the bipartisan bill that would create anti-Semitism monitors at colleges.
Oh my gosh. You know what this reminds me of? Back in 2020, when there was an uptick on anti-Asian violence because of, you know, the virus came from China. Which it did, let's be honest. Like because of the uptick of violence, the Democrats, I mean, if you want to look at it, if you want to look at the nitty gritty of it, we can do that. But they came up with an anti-Asian hate bill that no Asian asked for. So this reminds me directly of that.
Look, Jay, that's no difference than the anti-lynching bill. Like, isn't lynching murder, and isn't murder already a crime? So why do we need an anti-lynching? This is just anti-Semitism is frowned upon in the entire world almost, except for the Middle East and other countries and Ukraine. So why do we need anti-Semitism monitors if that's frowned upon anyway?
This is pork. This is definitely pork, but this is worse than you think, because like this is, like I said backstage, this is in the same vein as putting DEI monitors, or what do they call it? Coordinators, DEI coordinators, right? Yeah. Or putting a CCP monitor in corporations, right? It's the same exact thing. And it's dangerous to let people go with this idea. It's like, well, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. We should have people that oversee some anti-Semitism. Okay, let's play that out for a second. What do you think the left is going to do when they get a hold of this and use it against the right? Right, because they deem the right as anti-Semites already, right? They're anti-Semitic, and you have monitors that are being paid for by federal funds, by the way, federal funds for these stupid things, this stupid office. You think it's not going to get used against you? You're stupid. This is a terrible idea. This is a stupid idea and is antithetical to the First Amendment. You cannot have monitors who police speech.
Exactly. And where's it end? So who determines what is considered anti-Semitic? You know, someone said, what if they put on there, and they could put anything they want on there. They say, if you say the word MAGA, that's anti-Semitic. Yeah. If you say anything pro-American, USA, that's anti-Semitic. So, you know, where does it end? You know, if you talk about black people, if you talk about Hispanics, if you talk about people that are considered marginalized, that's all anti-Semitic. But it's okay to talk about white people. That's not considered anti-Semitic. So first off, we need to find the true definition of anti-Semitic so people understand what it actually means. Because a lot of these people throw that word around and they'll just tag on whatever they want to it and run with it. So this is dangerous, like Coy said. This is very, very dangerous because they can tag anything they want on to that bill.
Well, all right, so step one. in recognizing anti-Semitism is if the guy with the mustache that's really funny looking goes "the Jews," then it's probably anti-Semitic.
The Utahs.
So sorry, Jay. Go ahead. Sorry.
Now, I was just gonna say it's the same thing that they're doing with the idea of quote hate speech. Like, who determines what's hateful?
Exactly.
The individual, right?
A committee.
So if I sit here and make jokes about stereotypical Asians, like, hey man, don't how do Asian parents name their kids and they throw pots and pans down the stairs? That's how they name their kids.
Mm-hmm.
That would be considered hate speech, but I'm the Asian that's making the joke.
Mm-hmm.
So,
or there are people that get banned and reported for that all the time, where they're making a joke about their own race and they're getting hit with hate speech,
which makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, it's like making white jokes is perfectly fine. Nobody's going to ban me for anything.
and there's people probably watching saying, well, these guys, they're against free speech. No, we're not against free speech at all.
Yeah.
But there's a certain way you go about doing it. And what we're getting at is if you're disrupting anything, if you're blocking people from going places, if you're saying anti-Semitic, anti-this, anti-American, anti-anything, if you're saying death to America while using your free speech that falls under that Constitution, that means you hate the Constitution, so you shouldn't be able to use the Constitution. You hate America? Well, the Constitution doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, so that's
fair.
the debate that a lot of people have been having, is that what line does the right need to say, okay, enough, they don't deserve to have the same free speech protections as everybody else. If you don't believe in free speech, does that mean they should still be allocated free speech? Like, to me, at the same time, as kind of being a constitutionalist, I say, yeah, like, even if they are against it, they still, as a U.S. citizen, have the rights to said protections, even if they want to destroy it. It's like, that's the beauty of the United States, is that we allow people to say stupid things, regardless of what it is, even if we disagree with it, because we need to protect those rights, or else we lose them entirely. That's true. If they want to get rid of our free speech rights when they're in power, then we push against them. But when we're in power, we should still protect it, even if we disagree with it. Not to the point that it's detrimental to ourselves, but those protections. Same thing with the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is a protection and a right that we should all enjoy, and we should always push back against them trying to get rid of it. Same thing with free speech, is we should always push back against them when they try to get rid of it, regardless of who's trying to get rid of it. Mm-hmm. At least that's just my opinion. That's my opinion on the matter.
Yeah, it's very rocky road. So, and if this bill is getting pushed, it'll probably get passed. Because with the woke, all these activists in politics right now, this is something that they would push. Now, I see something like this getting frowned upon from more people on the left than on the right. I think more people on the left will be against this bill because a lot of them are anti-Semitic or anti-Semites. And
they're a bunch of racists who pretend they're not. Yeah.
Not all, but the majority.
A lot.
And I think they would push against that. And then if they did push against, I'm not for it at all. But let's just say it was out there and they were making a vote on it. And if the left pushed against it, they would say, oh, it's freedom of speech, though I agree. Mm-hmm. But then you have to look at why they're pushing against it. Why? Is because they want to be able to say what they want to say, that's anti-Semitic, without any repercussions. But God forbid we talk about somebody part of the LGBTQ community. Jesus Christ, you're canceled. You lose your job. They call your family. They call your workplace. They call everybody just for saying you don't agree with the lifestyle.
Yeah,
they're out here screaming death to a whole nation, but that's okay.
Yeah,
which is why at this point in time, I just don't give two craps about whether or not I get called racist or whatever phobe.
Oh, me neither.
Because
anybody does anymore.
It's a useless moniker at this point, because everything is racist and everything is phobic. So nothing is. So you can kiss off legitimate qua community.
It's true. Like I said, it's one of these points is that these people don't believe in free speech, and they never will, because they use it when it's beneficial and they want to stomp on it when it's not. And there's people on the right that do the exact same thing, and it's disgusting to me that they do. I don't like people that throw away their morals just to win a brownie point.
That's right.
I don't like what they're doing on these college campuses, but it's still a free speech protected issue. Now, if they're doing chants and disrupting and actually doing harm to others, that's no longer a peaceful protest, and it's not the same thing.
Yep.
You're allowed to say what you want to say, but as soon as you start using your hands and impeding other people, that's the difference. There's the line, right?
Yep.
You can say stupid things all day long. I will let you say stupid things all day long. You put your hands on me, that's a different story.
Right.
Yep. And that's a good point you brought up, because you remember during the Summer of Love how the mainstream fake media, propaganda media, CIA ran media. That was my Alex Jones moment. Remember how they kept saying the Summer of Love was mostly peaceful, because like Coy said, that's exactly what the Constitution says: peaceful protest. So when you're calling it, when you're seeing it for what it really is, they have to add that term on there, peaceful, because if they didn't, most people would say it violates the Constitution, or in the Constitution doesn't say you can go out here and riot. There's not riots in the Constitution, even though with our own eyes and the people that lived it, you saw that they were riots. They were not protests. So they would say, oh, mostly peaceful protests, because that term peaceful, that one term peaceful, makes it constitutional. So they have to use it's all word games, man. It's just how they use the words.
Which dilutes the spirit of the law at that point.
The what?
Here you go.
Well, when you use certain words to try and bolster a rhetoric that doesn't exist, like peaceful protest, I mean, like that. I mean, he's standing in front of a freaking burning parking lot, and he's saying it's a mostly peaceful protest. And when people use words like peaceful to try and bolster their little agenda, it dilutes the spirit of the law, of recognizing that no, this is a riot, but because you use the word peaceful in there, all of a sudden we got to abide by it.
Well, yeah, it all ties into word spells, man. And I posted something on TikTok a couple of days ago where I talked about how words are spells, and there's this term called visualization. So us with normal working brains, right? We're looking past the guy and we're actually seeing what's going on. We're not really paying attention to what he's saying. We're like, that's a riot. There's things burning. There's cars burning. But the smooth brain, banana eating chimpanzees, they're listening to what he's saying and they're reading that little blurb at the bottom. So as they're reading it, that's what sticks. This is why when you talk to a lot of leftists and you talk about the Summer of Love, they always say, oh, you mean the peaceful protest? They don't care what's behind the guy. As we see, we're looking behind him. We're seeing things burning. We're seeing rock stone. We're seeing people getting beat up. They're not seeing
people that lost their lives and livelihood.
All they're seeing is all they're listening to is what he's saying and what they're reading at the bottom.
Like, people don't seem to memory hold the fact that it cost billions of dollars in damages, and over 30 people lost their lives in those riots. And also people lost their livelihoods because they burnt down businesses. Small mom and pop shops got put out of business in black neighborhoods, by the way, which is the most ironic thing about this whole situation, is they only did it in black neighborhoods. These mostly white kids protesting BLM went into black neighborhoods and burned businesses down, just like in the 1920s. Just want to put that out there for your little imagery there, but it's not the same thing.
They're allies.
That's not a protest. That's a riot.
And with all these protests that's happening today, tomorrow, however long it's going to happen, I think it's going to happen all the way until they declare martial law. But it's funny how this conflict in Israel has been going on for how long? Years? Many years.
Many years.
Well, the entire Israeli conflict itself, or just this?
Well, from modern time, just from let's say
68. Since 68.
Yeah. All right. So since 1968, why all the uproar now? Why all of this now? The same amount of killings been going on. The same amount of bombs have been dropped. The same everything. It's almost the same. Maybe it's a little more in this part of it. Why now? Why? It's because we're in election cycle. The election is six months away, maybe 6 months away. So you guys got to think, if they can organize this fast, which they were paid to organize, just imagine what's going to happen when it gets close to election time. Just imagine something's going to happen. They're going to get all their little rioters out there during election season. It's going to keep people from being able to place their vote. The election's not going to happen like we're saying. They have something big planned, and I'm telling you, it's going to start in the summertime. Summer of Love 2.0 is going to go down. I see in June. They're going to give us this month to get the kids out of school. And I think in June, you're going to see something big is going to happen, and it's going to shut this thing down. Watch.
Yeah, I think it it'll happen, but not in the way that most people think. Is that they'll think they're gonna go riot and do what they did in 2020, right?
Yeah.
But then they're gonna be stomped on super hard because they're not the ones that need to be in trouble, right? So like you only got away with it in 2020 because it was against Donald Trump. But now that Biden's in power, they can't have that. We don't need this in election year. So they're going to stomp on your face as hard as they can to get you to shut the hell up.
And that is a very, very good point, because I think you're right. Something's going to happen under Biden. They're going to stomp it. They're not going to be able to control it. They're going to have to bring in somebody else to help control it. At that point, I think it'd be nationwide. It'd be that big because look, I think, my conspiracy mind, I think everything is a rich man's trick. And I'm going to keep saying that. They know Donald Trump's going to win the election if it happens. They know it's going to be a landslide. So they're going to do anything and plan anything to keep this election from happening. And there's only one thing they can really do, or two: any major conflict or war that they get us into, or if the country declares martial law. So if they can get these paid rioters out here all fired up like they're doing now, this is just the beginning. Get them fired up, and you start planning these riots all across the country. You get a bunch of leftists that don't like Donald Trump. They know if they riot, then Biden has to step in. We got to what's going on in China? Whatever he has to say. They're going to start sending in National Guard, and all this is still not going to contain itself. And then they're going to have to bring in, I think, foreign troops. At that moment, Biden has the power to declare a national emergency, which he's given himself. He can declare a national emergency under the WHO, whatever they declare a national emergency, and they will shut down everything. No election.
It's funny that the Patriot Fund is making a comeback now of all times when these crazy protests are happening in schools, right?
Yeah, Patriot Front. I think
I wonder where they were hiding.
They're paid. Those anybody who's been around Patriot circles as long as I've been around Patriot circles for years, they look like feds, they smell like feds, but I think also that they're also paid for by George Soros. And I keep saying everything is a rich man's trick. These powers to be play both sides. They get the radical leftists, and they'll get some radical rights, and they'll get both sides going. Look at these Nazis. Look at this over here, but look at these people over here. So while we're focusing on these two clown groups over here, the patriot Nazis and the freaking whatever free Palestine Hamas lovers, they're planning something big, man. This is just the beginning. It's gonna brew. I'm telling you, something big is gonna happen, and this is just the beginning. You gotta pay attention to the signs and prepare yourself. Prepare yourself.
Prepare.
But yeah, anything else? You got anything else, Coy?
No, like I said, this topic is one of those things. Like, it's not gonna get any better. Like I said,
no.
They're gonna get stepped on just like the Jan 6 people. They're gonna be treated just the same way, and they think that they were special because of 2020. And it's not gonna be. It's just not.
Makes sense.
And the thing is, they're not going to stop anything. I mean, again, the people up top that are funding these wars are not going to let a bunch of college kids stop them from getting what they want. Didn't work in Vietnam. Hey, it ain't going to work now. So you can scream, yell, pout, burn, scream anti-American stuff, scream anti-Israel stuff. It's not going to stop. And you're going to find out soon that they hate you just as much as they hate us on the right. We're all going to learn.
They're only on one side, and that's their side.
And that's, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
There it is.
Exactly.
That's key.
All right, Jay, you got anything?
Yeah, I appreciate what Malcolm X was talking about when he called the white liberals the most dangerous animal to the black person. But I would argue that the white liberal is the most dangerous animal, period, because of the way they're behaving now. All of it is just a trend that they want to hop on, and they don't do anything to further any sort of cause. All they do is bring destruction. And so because of that, like what Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz says, kick them out. They're not needed. They're not wanted. And if you know any white liberals that are, participating in this, make fun of them and shame them out of their way.
Yep. Laugh at them daily. Laugh at them. And don't be ashamed. Don't feel
Yeah.
ashamed when you do it,
Mhm.
because they're destroying our country. So, all right, Jay. Well, hey, at the end of the day, thank you guys for watching. Marlon should be back Wednesday. Don't know the topic yet. Hopefully he's feeling better. If not, send him a get well kiss, and show him
Y'all
some
women
love.
can do that. We won't.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's okay.
What's on the
But-
hooch?
Don't know yet. Well, maybe. Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll discuss it. There's so much going on.
There is.
So we'll see what type of craziness is happening on the X tonight, and we'll come up with.
Well, yeah. What's for the hooch tomorrow? We're going to cover is the Trump trial in SCOTUS right now about presidential immunity.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's a good one. But
That's
yeah,
good. That's a very good one.
that's good.
So y'all
Oh.
need to tune into that, folks.
Yeah, don't forget, and make sure you go to our merch shop,
Oh,
check
that's
out our merch, and buy something. Probably have some new stuff coming out. Both the Hooch and the Savage Patriots both have merch
Ooh.
stores, and make sure you pick you up something.
Cop
Get a
some-
tank top. It's
cop
getting
some
hot.
stuff.
Yeah.
Right, it is.
Yeah. But anyways, Jay, take us out.
Like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace out.